Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I just wanted to kind of go over what I was seeing in the market, what are some of my weekly objectives, and essentially just kind of like why I didn't take a trade this morning and why that was. And another thing I'm going to be talking about is the market is actually closing early on Thursday and on Friday. And another thing I'll be going over is why it's important to take breaks and also what my plan is for this upcoming week, just because we are closing early and I will be leaving, so I won't be around my trading desk. So what I'll be doing while I'm away. All right, so let's just get started, and I'm gonna go over some key levels in the chart, and essentially, yeah, we'll just get right to it. So let's just drop down into the charts right now. We're gonna start on the weekly because it's Monday. All right, so obviously we traded down to that weekly fair value gap, and we've been going higher ever since, taking out these highs, filling in this imbalance. My next buy side objective would be this weekly high right here, coming in at 4566.00, and then after that I would like to see this high or these relative equal highs here taken, and this little weekly fair value gap. So these are kind of the levels I have marked on my chart. So this high, these relative equal highs, and then this weekly fair value gap. I'll zoom in a bit more so you guys can see. That's kind of what my buy side objectives on the weekly chart would be. Again, since we're closing early on Friday and on Thursday, I'm not expecting much movement, especially because it's a holiday weekend or a holiday week. There's Thanksgiving in the USA on Thursday, so happy Thanksgiving to all of my American friends out there. But that is happening on Thursday, and then we have an early closure on Friday. So I'm not expecting too much movement. I think for me, if we could take out this high, either today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, I would love to see that. Again, I don't expect too much movement on Thursday and Friday just because we are closing early. Now for sell side objectives, I would like to see, if we do get animated, I would like to see about half of this imbalance filled in, so half of this weekly fair value gap, or even trade down to these new week opening gap levels, which was the new week opening gap from last week. So let's just drop down to the daily chart really quick. Again, we have this high right here marked out, and then these weekly relative equal highs. So those are some things that I'm looking for. I would like to see these lows taken out first before we trade down into that consequent encroachment, or the consequent encroachment of the fair value gap, weekly fair value gap, and potentially fill in this daily fair value gap here. But I'm just kind of looking to see if we can take out these lows. We did take out this weekly high this morning, so that was nice to see. Let's drop down to the 1 hour. All right, on the 1 hour, I do have this hourly fair value gap marked out. It's just right below this high. So this was one of my objectives, like short term, to see reached. And we haven't quite gotten there yet, but we are moving in that direction. So it would be nice to see the market trade higher into this 1 hour fair value gap. I really do like how we took out these relative equal highs when we were trading higher. We did do that this morning before 10 a.m. So I wasn't able to catch that move. And since we had already taken out this key level, I was like, I don't know if we're gonna be going higher. We haven't really moved up much this morning. But looking at it now, we did, trade a bit lower, coming down to this old high right here perfectly, trading down, and then we moved higher, potentially gonna trade into this 1 hour fair value gap. And then I would like to see these relative equal highs traded to, potentially tomorrow morning would be great. All right, so let's drop down to the 15-minute. Again, we didn't have much movement this morning. I mean, we moved about 14 points in this run. Traded back down into the new week opening gap and filling in this opening range gap here. before ultimately moving higher. That shift in market structure, also we saw that happen, traded higher, taking out this high, and then the week we went about 1 point above the high of the week before moving lower down into this 15-minute order block, and then of course moving higher. We'll drop down to the 5-minute too, because we also have a 5-minute order block. That was nice to see, and we had some confluence there, but just because we were moving like really slow and we weren't getting those like animated runs, I didn't want to take a trade just because it was just not the market I like trading in, you know? I like those trending markets, so perfect. So of course, when with the open we traded higher, came back down. We could use this 5-minute fair value gap as a breakaway gap because it just came down to the very top of it right there. And seeing that, I was like, okay, we could potentially use this as a breakaway gap. And then of course the market did trade higher, taking out our relative equal highs, high of the week, traded back down. We came into this 5-minute order block and this 5-minute volume imbalance. We never took out that low or traded back into this breakaway gap, so that was nice to see. Plus we came down to the high over here, which was also the 15-minute order block, so that was all good. I wanted to see all of that happen. I actually wanted to see this 15-minute fair value gap either be turned into an inversion fair value gap or respected. We could see it did get respected, and now we're trading higher. So I didn't actually trade off of this run right here, but I was just tape reading, kind of seeing what was working out, what was playing out. So again, we took out the short-term sell-side liquidity with this displacement run down. I wanted to see how we would trade inside this 1-minute fair value gap. We came up higher, and now we're kind of respecting it, using it as an inversion 1-minute fair value gap and respecting this 15-minute fair value gap before moving higher. Again, we're kind of just slowly moving higher, slowly getting to this 1 hour fair value gap, very slowly but surely. So again, I didn't get into the trade just because it was a slow market. We didn't move too many points, so it just wasn't something that I was interested in getting in. And the fact that this week is probably going to be a slow week because we have the market closing early on Thursday and on Friday, it just wasn't something I wanted to trade. So we just sat out, just watched, which is totally fine. Lived to trade another day. That is totally fine. But yeah, let's talk about the closures coming this week. So Thursday, we are closing early. We're closing at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you have that somewhere in your notes or something. The markets will be closed from that between 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and we start a new trading day. So technically that would be the open of Friday, but we are closed from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. And then on Friday, we are closing early and closing for the weekend at 1 p.m. So Thursday and Friday are kind of cut in half for us. Yes, we could still trade the morning session, like the markets are still open till 1 p.m. But usually when this happens, we don't really want to trade these days just because there's just not too much movement. So what is kind of nice about these days is we kind of get a forced break, you know, a forced kind of, hey, let's step away from the markets, let's step away from the charts. So it's kind of nice because we get that little bit of a break, and it's forced, yes, but necessary. Also this week I will be traveling, so I am not going to be at my desk. Tomorrow we're leaving in the morning, so I probably won't even have time to trade tomorrow morning before I leave. However, I am taking my laptop with me, and even though I won't be taking trades on my laptop, I'm going to be doing like a market recap and just kind of seeing how the market moved, because I like being in tune with the markets. but I'm not going to be extensively putting in time and watching the markets and trading on my laptop. I'm just going to simply be seeing what happened that day. And it's kind of like a perfect time because one, we're closing early on Thursday and Friday, so I don't think we'll have too many runs this week. And yeah, it's just kind of perfectly worked out. And it is the holiday season, so we'll definitely have another week like this in December. But it's just kind of nice to be able to say, hey, you know what, we're just taking a break and not feeling like we're missing out because the markets are going to be closed. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. But yes, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys get some time to yourself this week. Step away from the charts, maybe go for a walk or something, and just kind of clear your head and come back with a fresh headspace next week and ready to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.